Welcome to Finpod, your daily financial digest. I'm your host, Evan, and I'm here to get you ready for the trading day ahead. Whether you're listening before the opening bell or catching up after the close, we've got you covered. Finpod is brought to you by Fintwit.ai, your go-to platform for real-time trading signals from X and deep AI-powered stock analysis. Let's dive in. The conversation today is dominated by a few major players. Meta is catching a lot of attention, up about 2% in pre-market trading. This follows the big news about their new AI model, Muse Spark, and an expanded partnership with PayPal to push into social commerce. Investors seem to be breathing a sigh of relief as geopolitical tensions ease. Then there is Amazon, also seeing a nice pre-market bump of nearly 2%. Analysts are getting more bullish on their AI-driven cloud business, with Cantor Fitzgerald raising their price target, citing strong commercial traction for their cloud services. SanDisk is the real standout, up nearly 4%. Even after a recent rally, analysts at Bernstein are doubling down, raising their price target and arguing that recent fears around AI memory compression were overblown. CRWV is also in the spotlight, up over 1%, following a massive $21 billion AI infrastructure deal with Meta that runs through 2032. Finally, Alcoa is seeing some action, up over 1%, after Morgan Stanley upgraded the stock to overweight, citing its strategic value as it looks to repurpose industrial sites for data center infrastructure. Moving to the broader market, futures are pointing slightly lower as traders weigh the recent optimism from the U.S.-Iran ceasefire against the reality of potential volatility. While we saw a massive rally yesterday, markets are now digesting that news. Investors are keeping a close eye on the Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index and weekly jobless claims data due out today, as these will be key indicators for future Fed policy. Geopolitically, while the two-week ceasefire has cooled immediate fears of an energy shock, the situation remains fragile, keeping a lid on excessive exuberance. In the AI economy, the theme of the week is infrastructure. We've seen a massive deal between Meta and CRWV, highlighting how critical dedicated AI cloud capacity has become. Meanwhile, Oracle is embedding new AI agent-driven capabilities into its financial compliance software, and Accenture has invested in Replit to push further into AI-driven software development for enterprises. It is clear that the focus is shifting from just training models to the massive task of deploying and scaling them, which is keeping demand for chips and data center space at a premium. Looking at other stocks in focus, we are seeing some movement in the broader industrial and tech space. But for now, the energy around the AI infrastructure build-out is pulling most of the capital. We are also keeping an eye on retail and consumer goods as we head into the next round of earnings, but today is relatively quiet on the major earnings front. Speaking of earnings, we have a few smaller names on the watch list. CarMax is reporting, but their main earnings release is actually next week, so keep an eye out for any preliminary commentary. WD-40 Company is set to report after the bell today. Analysts are looking for revenue and earnings around $150 million and $1.40 per share respectively. We'll be watching to see how their margins hold up in this environment. That is a wrap for today's episode. We touched on the AI infrastructure boom, the latest on Meta and CRWV, and the macro data that is going to drive the markets for the rest of the week. If you enjoyed this update, please like, share, and subscribe to Finpod. For detailed analysis and AI-powered stock insights, visit Fintwit.ai. Until next time.